While most rappers were flexing chains and Lamborghinis, NBA YoungBoy was quietly buying land. Not in Los Angeles, not in Miami, but in Utah. At just 23 years old, with house arrest restrictions, legal pressure, and constant controversy, he made a move that shocked the industry. A $5+ million estate, massive land, total privacy. And here's the crazy part. This wasn't just luxury, it was strategy. While people thought he was reckless, he might have been building generational wealth. So the real question is NBA YoungBoy actually one of the smartest investors in hip-hop right now? In April 2022, NBA YoungBoy purchased an approximately 8,800 square foot mansion in the Olympus Cove area of Mill Creek, Utah for around $4.2 million, according to public listings. The property sits on roughly 1.46 acres in an upscale neighborhood known for privacy and scenic mountain views. During his court-ordered house arrest period, which lasted over 2 years, this mansion became his primary residence and creative base. The home includes 4 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a 5-car garage, an indoor elevator, and a resort-style pool with stone terraces. It also features floor-to-ceiling glass walls overlooking the Salt Lake Valley and surrounding mountains. A custom recording studio was installed inside the home, allowing him to continue producing music during that time. While exact renovation costs are not publicly verified, high-end home studios often require significant investment. In early 2024, reports indicated the property was listed for approximately $5.5 million, suggesting notable appreciation in under 2 years, although final sale figures have not been officially confirmed.
Judge in Utah has sentenced the rapper NBA YoungBoy to 23 months in prison on charges. The 25-year-old, whose real name is Kentrell Galden, was also sentenced to 5 years of probation and fined $200,000.
That house arrest period lasted over 2 years, and during that time, the mansion essentially became his full-time environment. Despite legal restrictions, he continued releasing projects, turning the property into both a residence and a working headquarters. Reports have mentioned heightened private security at the property, which is common for high-profile artists, although exact monthly costs are not publicly documented. Regardless, this Utah mansion represents a major chapter in both his personal and financial journey. In 2023, while still managing legal obligations, NBA YoungBoy reportedly acquired another property in Huntsville, Utah, a more rural and private area known for larger land parcels. Exact acreage has not been publicly disclosed, but reports suggest it spans multiple acres, potentially much larger than his Mill Creek property. High-end estates in Huntsville with significant land can range in the multi-million-dollar bracket depending on features and upgrades. Real estate observers estimate his total investment, including improvements, may have been in the mid to high millions, though precise figures remain private. The timing of this purchase stood out because while attention was focused on his primary residence, he was quietly expanding his real estate footprint. In some legal arrangements, having more than one approved residence can provide flexibility, though exact terms vary by case. Utah's growing market has seen appreciation in recent years, and if trends continue, properties of that size could increase significantly in value over time, though projected returns remain estimates. To fully understand his property story, we have to go back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where it all started. His childhood home on Chippewa Street is located in a modest residential neighborhood, with homes in the area typically valued in the low 6 figures, depending on condition. Public imagery even shows a younger version of him outside the property years ago. Reports suggest that over time, he has purchased multiple properties in or near his former neighborhood. While exact totals are not fully confirmed, local discussions indicate he may have invested several $100,000 to over $1 million in the area. This strategy aligns with celebrity reinvestment trends, where artists buy and renovate properties in their hometown communities. If managed carefully, such investments can raise neighborhood property values over time, although outcomes depend on broader market conditions. These Baton Rouge properties appear to represent both financial planning and a connection to his roots. Before Utah, there was also a Los Angeles phase. In 2018, during the early rise of his career, he reportedly purchased a Hollywood Hills mansion for approximately $3.2 million. The property was described as a modern 6,500 square foot home with multiple bedrooms, an infinity pool, and panoramic city views. Industry estimates suggest additional spending on customization, studio installation, and security may have brought the total investment closer to $4 million. At that stage, moving to Los Angeles made strategic sense for networking and industry growth. However, reports indicate his stay was relatively brief, and he later shifted toward quieter environments, offering more privacy. While the LA move was expensive, it likely provided valuable exposure during a key phase of his career. When you look at the bigger picture, NBA YoungBoy's real estate journey reflects more than luxury purchases. It shows adaptation, from Hollywood to Utah mountains, from legal challenges to multi-property ownership, and from a modest Baton Rouge street to high-value estates. Exact profits and net worth figures remain partially private, and some circulating numbers are estimates rather than confirmed disclosures. But what stands out is that real estate became a central part of how he structured his finances at a young age, blending lifestyle decisions with long-term investment strategy. The issues started when he signed a long-term lease with an option to buy, locking himself into payments of around $35,000 per month, whether he stayed there or not. Reports at the time suggested that NBA YoungBoy paid roughly $420,000 in rent and related fees before exiting the agreement. That's close to $500,000 for a property he barely used. But here's the bigger picture. That costly experience appears to have shaped his future real estate decisions. After dealing with the constant attention that comes with living in Los Angeles as a rising rap star, he reportedly began prioritizing privacy, space, and long-term value. That shift eventually led him to Utah, where properties offered significantly more land and security for the price. If he had purchased a comparable luxury home in Los Angeles instead of Utah, estimates suggest it could have cost anywhere between $15 to $20 million. Instead, his Utah mansion was acquired for approximately $4.2 million. From that perspective, the earlier financial loss may have influenced smarter, more strategic decisions later on. The Los Angeles property he once rented is now valued at around $5.8 million, reflecting strong appreciation since 2018. Had he purchased it, he might have benefited from that increase. However, ownership would have also tied him to a location that may not have aligned with his lifestyle or legal circumstances at the time.
The next chapter unfolded in 2025. Public records confirm that NBA YoungBoy was released from federal custody in late March 2025 and transferred to a residential re-entry facility before his full release in April. During this period, his Utah properties continued to gain value. His primary Mill Creek mansion, originally purchased for about $4.2 million, was later listed for approximately $5.5 million, reflecting notable appreciation. Market estimates suggest similar properties in the area have continued trending upward. His Huntsville, Utah property, situated on multiple acres, may have also increased in value based on comparable sales in the region. While exact figures aren't publicly confirmed, Utah's luxury market has remained strong in recent years. After his release, he returned to his Mill Creek home, which was still listed for sale. Maintaining the listing while residing there suggests a flexible strategy, keeping options open while monitoring buyer interest. In competitive luxury markets, some properties do sell above asking price during bidding situations, though that outcome is never guaranteed. Neighbors reportedly observed heightened private security at the residence following his return. While costs for 24/7 professional security can be substantial, individuals with significant public visibility often view such expenses as asset protection rather than extravagance. Given his legal obligations, including a term of supervised release, maintaining a stable residence likely supports compliance requirements while also offering privacy. When looking at the broader picture, his known real estate holdings present a sizable portfolio. The Mill Creek mansion, listed at $5.5 million, could potentially command more depending on final negotiations. The property spans approximately 8,800 square feet on over an acre of land, placing it among higher-end homes in that area of Utah. His Huntsville property, based on regional comparisons, may fall within a higher multi-million-dollar range, though exact valuations are speculative without confirmed sale data. In Louisiana, particularly in Baton Rouge, he has reportedly invested in multiple properties. While individual values may be smaller than his Utah holdings, long-term appreciation in developing neighborhoods can be significant over time. The earlier Los Angeles lease situation, although expensive in the short term, appears to have influenced a pivot toward markets offering stronger value per dollar. That lesson may have prevented him from committing to substantially higher purchase prices in traditionally expensive cities. It's also important to note that high-profile individuals frequently structure property ownership through LLCs or trusts for privacy and liability reasons. While there is no confirmed public documentation of additional holdings beyond those reported, it would not be unusual for someone at his financial level to diversify assets across different regions.
Based on publicly discussed figures and market estimates, his confirmed portfolio could reasonably fall within the $25 to $35 million range, though precise totals depend on final sale values and any undisclosed assets. If appreciation trends continue, long-term growth could significantly increase that number, but future projections always depend on market conditions. What stands out most is the strategy. Instead of concentrating investments in traditional entertainment hubs like Atlanta, Miami, or Los Angeles, where comparable estates can cost substantially more, he chose Utah, gaining more acreage, privacy, and cost efficiency. In markets like Atlanta or Miami, comparable luxury estates often command multi-million-dollar premiums. Naming both Utah properties Gravedigger Mountain also suggests branding awareness, aligning real estate with personal identity rather than treating properties as random purchases. Concentrating holdings in one state may have also simplified logistics during legal supervision, while allowing him to benefit from Utah's growing market. Security measures at the properties appear to reflect practical risk management. High-visibility artists often invest heavily in controlled access, surveillance, and private security to protect family and property. These precautions, while expensive, can be viewed as safeguarding long-term investments. His Baton Rouge investments indicate attention to long-term roots and potential community impact. Real estate in familiar markets can provide both financial returns and personal connection. In summary, NBA YoungBoy's property portfolio reflects calculated decision-making rather than impulse buying. From Louisiana to Utah, each move appears aligned with privacy, compliance, and asset growth. Estimates suggest holdings in the tens of millions, with potential for continued appreciation depending on market trends. Building that level of property investment while navigating legal challenges is notable. Many artists focus solely on income generation through music, but property ownership provides stability and diversification. Appreciation during periods of house arrest or incarceration demonstrates how real estate can function as a long-term wealth vehicle. His current situation, residing in a multi-million-dollar Utah property while under supervised release, illustrates how a strong real estate foundation offers flexibility and financial security. Whether he ultimately sells or holds, the underlying strategy emphasizes ownership, appreciation, and long-term positioning. In this conversation opens a broader question. How are today's young artists thinking beyond music revenue? Many are exploring investments, equity, and assets designed to build generational wealth. The shift from short-term spending to long-term strategy is becoming one of the most interesting financial evolutions in hip-hop today.